Hi, I'm Louisa. I'm a dream tender and creative coach, and every month I share a few of the images that are coming through collectively in people's dreams, as in more than one people is having a dream where these images are presenting. And I talk a little bit about what these images might mean, why I think they're coming through at this particular moment in time, and how they can help us to achieve our full potential and our greatest happiness individually and also collectively. The three images I want to bring in is bear, female bear specifically, call off the search, and lastly, natural disaster becomes the home place. So I want to start with female bear. And bear is one of those images that pretty frequently come through in people's dreams. I've met bear in many people's dreams over the years, but it's just been very prevalent in this month particularly. And the first reaction that my dreamers have to this image generally is one of, uh-oh, what's happening? Fear comes up. And that makes sense. Bear is not a small animal. Bear is imposing, ferocious, fierce. You can't really ignore the presence of bear, especially if she shows up inside of the dreamer's house in the dream, which has been the case on more than one occasion this month. Bear really wants the dreamer's attention when she goes through the trouble to walk into somebody's house and stay in there. But when the dreamers really sit down with this image and start to sort of go underneath the initial fear that comes up, what the dreamers are finding is this extraordinary, fierce, maternal love. So it's not this kind of rosy, sentimental thing that we have been taught to equate with what love is. It's really a very tough love. Boundary-setting love, the kind of love that is fierce and very, very primal and instinctive. And it's interesting because over the years, female bear has really come in quite strongly for women who are pregnant, including me actually. I tend to dream about this image. I think that makes sense because bear really invites us to acknowledge those qualities that are necessary for taking care of a young child. So again, it's these qualities of almost like superhuman strength. Of course, we need that to birth a child, but it's also that fierceness, that loving, fierce, primal energy that will stop at nothing to make sure that their offspring is safe. Even if it costs our own lives, we will take care of our offspring, you know? So bear is really inviting these pregnant women to embody those qualities and helps the pregnant women to find that within themselves. In Greek mythology, bear is a symbol of the goddess Artemis, who is the goddess of the wild and the goddess of childbirth. And it's just so fascinating to me that so many people who have no idea about Greek mythology will still dream about bear. That symbol is just such a collective symbol and such a strong, pervasive symbol that it just comes up, even if we don't know that, oh, that's Artemis and that's the goddess of childbirth. This month, though, female bear has really been coming up very strongly for many, many people from all walks of life and all genders. And it really speaks to that parental, maternal presence. Symbolically or mythically, bear is also a symbol of Mother Earth. This sort of fierce, loving presence, again, that has the power to heal and has the power to harm. A presence that has the power to give love or give life, but also to take it away. This instinctive, indigenous parental presence has been quite revolutionary for my dreamers this month. And that's really what bear wants to teach us. How to be parents to ourselves, and how to parent or take care of the world as well. I think that makes sense for where we are right now as a culture, that an image like that would come in with some kind of medicine for us. It's safe to say that those institutions, the institutions that should function as our sort of symbolic parents, like the financial institutions, like the government, like the religious institutions, these cultural places symbolically are our parent, you know? It's not a real parent, of course, but they have that function of having to take care of us, of having to shepherd us through our existence, of pointing the way and helping us live our best lives, right? And I think it is safe to say that they are not doing a particularly good job at that at the moment, and they haven't for a while. I remember when we first started, or at least when I first started to acknowledge that, okay, we're not being taken care of by the people who should be the elders and the guides of our culture, which was back when all of those scandals happened in the Catholic Church community. And I remember how shocking that was, that these things were going on behind closed doors. Now, of course, we're like, oh yeah, that happens. Of course, we know. We know, we're so desensitized to it, right? But that doesn't mean that the inner child isn't in uproar and terror about this happening, and about the fact that we are kind of all living as orphans and displaced children, or abandoned children, and that the institutions and the people who should be taking care of us are doing the opposite, to the point where it's neglectful at best and abusive at worst, highly abusive at worst. And so Bear comes in, this primal maternal presence, an authentic and really indigenous maternal energy. And I think she invites us to parent ourselves, to parent our own inner child, and to become safe in the world again, or have a sense of safety around who we are and what we want to do in the world. Not unlike Wildman that came in last month so strongly, but this is just a more feminine, a more maternal presence. Secondly, I think she's really inviting us to embody those qualities so that we can become that for the culture, so that we can become the elders and parental figures for our families, yes, for our communities, for nature, and really also for the country that we live in, because we sorely need it. The last thing I want to say about Bear is that she hibernates. Again, I think that's such a beautiful invitation to what is going on in the cultural moment right now, because Bear will go underground when the world above becomes too cold and too hostile. She will retreat underground, where she will give birth, nourish her young in this safe container that she's created down there. And then when the world is a little bit more gentle and the young lives that she has taken care of can live, she will come back out with these young. And I think that is such a beautiful symbolic invitation for us to perhaps step a little bit away from what's happening, and in the quiet and safety of our own container, nourish those ideas, nourish those seeds that are growing within us of what the next phase of our lives might be, of what the next phase of the world might be, a creative project, a new idea, whatever it may be that we are nourishing. Really take the time to gestate and nourish and give birth to it in a safe way, so that it can live in the world when it's time to free it into the world space. And this really ties in very well with the next dream image that I want to talk to, which is Call Off the Surge. So it isn't really an image, it's more of a theme, I would say, Call Off the Surge. But I had to bring it in because so many dreamers have had a version of that sentence come up last month that it is just uncanny. I would say 9 out of 10 of the dreamers that I've worked with have had some kind of figure or a landscape or an animal or something in the dream that just leads them to this realization: call off the search. It's time. There is nothing out there in the man-made world that will help you solve whatever it is that you are going through, whatever problem you're having. And thinking that something out there can help you, or something in the man-made construct can help you, and searching for it is only going to make it worse. That's the message that I would say is coming through the most strongly this month, and it's been very interesting to notice just how pervasive it is for the dreamers. I want to talk about this dream that I attended for somebody actually over a year ago. I don't generally like to bring in dreams that I've just heard as an example, because the dream isn't ready, like the bear cub. The dream isn't really ready to be shared in the wide sort of world space. But this dream came through, I think, a year or two ago, and so it's been worked through, it's been integrated, and I have been given permission to share it today as well. So in this dream, my dreamer, who is a extremely cultured, highly educated man on the East Coast, he had a problem, and he had gone to the library at Harvard University, to find an answer to this problem that he was having, only to discover that the library was completely empty. There were no books in the Harvard Library. Can you imagine that? And for my dreamer, it was just this extraordinary realization that this time, the tried and true ways of finding information and finding answers are not going to cut it. It's not going to work. Massive aha moment for the dreamer. The next thing that happens in the dream is that he turns around and he finds this luminous golden baby lying on the floor. He picks up this baby and it's like this, like just rush of feeling, of wanting to take care of this baby, of wanting to nurture it, of just this rush of love truly coming through. Baby is his soul. He discovers that that's what's here. And it was life-changing for him. And so this really is just such a great illustration of what I'm talking about when I say call off the search. Because I think we're all mired in one way or another in this constant quest for something outside of ourselves. It's not materialism per se anymore, because we're not looking for stuff to fill us up, but we're looking for information. We're looking for the next podcast, the next YouTube channel, the next this, the next that, There's always a search for more. The next certificate, the next guy that comes through on our dating profile or whatever. Like there's always a search for more. Something out there, I can find it and it will complete me. And then the dream comes through and says, no, you're already complete. So if you think anything else anything outside of you can either make or break that completeness, that's not the case. So call off the search, look within, take a moment to just go to that place inside of yourself where, in Rilke's words, life calmly gives out its own secret. The place within where life calmly gives out its own secret. Wow. So I think if this theme has been coming up for you, and probably has, because we all relate to this sense of constant overwhelm and constant just the cycle of hunger that we are living in. We don't even really know what it is we are looking for out there. We don't even really know what it is we're hungry for. It's just there's something that we should be able to find. And so if all of this resonates for you, I would say, take those 10 to 15 minutes a day. It doesn't need much. Psyche doesn't ever really need that much. It's really just a matter of showing up. Just for 10 minutes a day. I'm going to drop into stillness. I'm going to drop into my heart space. I'm going to try to see if I can sit with an image like Golden Baby in my dear friend's dream. One of those images that's coming through in our dreams that speak to that stillness, that speak to that soul connection, that bridge to what my soul is and that bridge to my inner life. Drop into that place and see what comes up. No doing, no conscious act of meditation or conscious act of, anything. Just be. Be in the self. Nothing has to happen. I'm just going to sit here for a moment. My mother is a master at this. She just sits and thinks. And for years, I tell you, God, just seeing that made me so uncomfortable. It's incredible how uncomfortable it can make us when somebody is just present in themselves. But of course, it's because it reflects something back to us that we are not capable of doing or okay to do. Now I look at her and I'm like, wow, she's like a master. So drop into that stillness. And it really helps to have a dream image of some kind that for you facilitates that connection to your own soul. It doesn't have to be a dream image. It can be a tree. It can be a view. It can be the morning star when you wake up. It can be a house plant. Just anything that is not of the man-made world, I would say, is what you want to just connect with and have that as a sort of companion or focal point. And then just be for a few minutes. See what voice comes out from within you, or even possibly from the cosmos. I wouldn't just add it in. This is what I've been saying to most of my clients this month. If you're gonna schedule in 10 minutes of stillness, make a trade for 10 minutes that you would otherwise spend on just being busy with something that you don't kind of really want to do. I mean, an obvious one is probably scrolling on Instagram, or checking emails for the thousandth time today. Anything like that, talking to somebody that you don't really want to talk to, but you're just doing it out of obligation. Just make a conscious act to say, okay, the busyness I'm going to trade in for stillness on this day. I may not be able to do it tomorrow, but on this day I'm going to make that conscious decision. See what happens. I've been practicing this, and it's been remarkable how much my psyche and my physical being probably too has needed it, and just how much I can hear now that I couldn't hear before. That would be my recommendation if this idea of calling off the search. And so now I want to go to a fairly different but also incredibly transformative image that's been coming up. And this one I'm calling Natural Disaster Becomes the Home Place. So again, like Bear, natural disaster is something that very frequently comes up in dreams. But this month, there is a twist to these natural disaster dreams, which I will get back to in a moment. But first, I just want to talk a little bit about just sort of general interpretation techniques that you can use if natural disaster is coming up for you, because it is such a pervasive theme in dreams, and a lot of people have studied what it is and how to work with these natural disasters when they appear in dreams. I am no scientist, but I would say that on the most basic rudimentary level, a natural disaster is the result of the excess of one or more elements, and the elements being water, earth, fire, and air. So if there is an excess of one or more of these elements, we have a disaster, right? If there's an excess of water, we have a flood. If there is an excess of wind or air, we have a tornado, and so on. And these elements speak to a corresponding temperament or psychological state within us. Air speaks to mental energy, the realm of ideas, intellect. That's the realm of air for us human beings psychologically. Fire speaks to sexuality, passion, rage, anger, these explosive emotions. Water speaks to, or is generally equated with, the realm of feeling, melancholy, depression, tears, right? Tears are water. And earth is stability, foundation, our inner foundation, nourishment, those kinds of things. If we dream of a natural disaster, it will often have something to do with a psychological, one of these four psychological states inside of us that is out of balance. And the dream, of course, comes to reveal content that we are not aware of, right? So it's often an unconscious lack of balance that's happening. So let's say I dream about a tsunami, and I have dreamed about the tsunami more than once. So if tsunami comes, it probably has something to do with psyche wanting me to see that there is this incredible flood of feeling that needs to be released, and that I can't find a way to release. And this flood of feeling is so intense and so excessive that it's actually causing damage to my psychological landscape, my inner landscape, right? Consequently, if I dream about a tornado, it might be because I'm in this sort of maelstrom of mental energy that I just can't get out of, just thought upon thought upon thought, just cycling through the whole time. And again, it's not something that I'm necessarily conscious of, but the dream tells me this is what's going on. So look at it and deal with it. I hope I'm making clear that these are ways that you could really start to look at your dreams. If you're dreaming about natural disasters, you can look at how these outer elements correspond to your inner psychological states, and maybe get some interesting hints and clues about what might be going on that you are either not aware of or trying to ignore, that the dream wants to talk to you about. Now, the interesting thing is that up until not very long ago at all, the dreams would often stop with the natural disaster. So tsunami comes, fire comes, the dreamer is helpless and paralyzed and can't do anything, and the dream stops there. The dreamer often wakes up at the start because it's so confrontational, of course, But that's not what's happening now. Right now, in the dreams that I've been seeing, natural disaster comes, and yeah, there's fear, there's trepidation, but then there is a shift. The dream seems to say, look, don't jump to conclusions here, because this isn't what it seems. And then the dream keeps dreaming, and something happens where the dreamer realizes that they know what to do. Maybe another figure comes and tells the dreamer, but oftentimes it's just the dreamer going, oh, okay, I actually know what to do. I've been training for a while for this. And then in that moment, the dreamer finds the courage to willingly surrender to what's happening. And just, okay, I know what to do. And then the next thing that happens is this magical thing that is just so exciting to me, because the natural disaster will dissipate and the dreamer will realize that they are actually home. So I'll give you a couple of examples of how this plays out. Tsunami comes, dreamer goes, well, can't do anything about this, so I'm just going to surrender. Tsunami washes over, and the dreamer realizes that they can actually breathe underwater. And there are these dolphins and mermaids swimming, and they can just swim with them and have a wonderful time. There is a dream where a mudslide comes down over the side of the mountain. Lethal, massive mudslide, revealing all these jewels, revealing these ancient chambers of some kind of civilization that nobody knew anything about, that we can now start to learn from and discover things from. Dream has come where a flood has overcome the dreamer. And rather than being washed away with this flood, the dreamer has found a way to move underneath of it as it goes on above her. And she comes up on the other side, and she's in this amazing water park where everybody's just having a great time, and there's a party going on. And actually, wow, it's her house. She didn't even know she lived here, but behind this beautiful water park, there's this house that is all hers, and it's beautiful and fully furnished and everything. And so this has just been so exciting for me to witness, because rather than disaster, no resolution, no hope in sight, actually there's resolution. The dream resolves in unexpected beauty, unexpected joy, celebration, new life, new possibilities. And it's just been so exciting to witness this. But I would say that the key word for the dreamer to get to this place is surrender. There's always that moment in the dream where there is a surrender. I can't do anything about it. I can't fight it. I can't run away from it. This is happening, no doubt about it. But if I surrender, I can actually live through it. And then there is another page. There is another chapter that happens afterwards. The dreamer will find that it's not the end as they thought for a moment that it was. It's possibly just the beginning. And I think these dreams are coming through right now with just such an extraordinary purpose, because we are in an upheaval, the likes of which we have not seen in our lifetimes, and probably for several lifetimes. Everything's falling, right? Everything, again, in the man-made world seems to just be going through such incredible transition. Not even talking about the fact that natural disaster has basically become an everyday occurrence. Everything is shifting underneath us and around us, and it is horrifying and anxiety-provoking. And I don't think any of us are really completely immune to the fear of, oh my God, what is next? Is there going to even be a next? The dreams are telling us, yeah, not only is there going to be a next, but it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a home place that's much more authentic and much more right for you than this world that we are leaving behind. Dreams coming through and saying, I've got you. You're safe. You're here for this, and you can do it. And there really is a sense in the dreamers at the moment that Psyche is just holding them, and Psyche is helping all of us to move into whatever that may look like. I don't know what it looks like, but I do have a sense that we are probably being brought home. It's quite extraordinary. If the dreams are truthful, and as far as I know, the dreams don't really lie. We are being brought home. But the key word again is surrender. The key word is not resisting and really living into this possibility that, I actually do know what to do. And yeah, I actually am here for this. So, putting it all together, it does seem like the dreams are really bringing us to the next level right now. And that the ingredients that are required for us to get there is a sense of maternal presence, as in, I am going to actually set some boundaries around myself to really cultivate these new seeds that are coming through. I'm going to actually take the time to look within and find the answers there. And even if these massive tsunamis or fires or whatever is happening, which is devastating and horrible, even as that's happening, I'm going to cultivate the possibility that I am being led home with the help and support of my inner figures. And the tsunamis, of course, the natural disasters, again, in the dreams can also just point to a huge release of feeling, which I think a lot of us are also going through right now. Knowing that we can release that feeling and that maybe that's what we're meant to do. So not judging it when we have intense emotional responses to things that are happening, but just allowing it to wash through us, as if perhaps we were releasing years of trauma, as if perhaps we were releasing generational trauma, cultural trauma through releasing those feelings. I know what to do. I can live through it. I've done it before. And actually, through doing that, I'm going to help not only me, but the world move to the next place that we're going to. So I hope this has been interesting to you and that it has helped you in some way. So if this has piqued your interest in the dream world and you want to know more, please like and subscribe. We post videos here regularly. I'm also going to put links below to my Substack where you can read a sort of a little bit more curated version of these images that have been coming through. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and you can sign up for my newsletter by going to my website, which is also below. I'm also taking new clients at the moment for individual one-on-one work if you're interested in that. And you can also find that below on my website. So thank you so much for listening. Goodbye for now.